we can make whatever. Stitch by stitch, it's made by your friend Claire.
Hi. Welcome back to Purlwise Knitting Podcast. Hopefully you just heard the cutest intro song ever. And maybe a little bit of really silly intro video with B. Yeah, it was my birthday this weekend, and my very good friend Amory made me a theme song, and it's so cute and I love it. And she sent it to me on Sunday. It was my birthday, and I went to Knit City, which was a yarn show here in Montreal, with some friends, and Amory sent it to me and we listened to it in the car on the way home from Knit City, and we all started crying because it was so cute. So I hope you liked it. Amory has been one of my best friends here in Montreal for many years now. We met in Newfoundland before starting our MFAs at Concordia. And yeah, I've been really good friends ever since. And she's such a good musician, and her songs are so fun. She has a solo project called Alpenglow that you can check out, and I'll link her in the description. And also another band with her boyfriend called Born at Midnight, and they're both really good. Yeah, so I hope you liked my little song. It's so cute and silly. It's also funny because whenever Amory comes over, we always spend the first hour with me just like show and tell, showing her things I've been making and stuff around my apartment. So yeah. Let's look at it together line I thought was really cute. So I also have all these flowers. Oh. Mirrored, because it was my birthday, so I haven't been living there, but I just thought it would be nice to have them in the background. So yeah, it's been a little while since I last recorded. 3 weeks, maybe almost 4 weeks. Sorry, B's just sitting on the ground like a loaf beside me. And I've been wanting to, but I just have too much school, and my birthday like really burnt me out. Just too many activities. So I really honestly should be doing homework right now, but I don't feel like it. I want to talk about knitting instead. My feet are hot. I'm gonna take off my socks. Yeah, so I'm actually really warm in this sweater. Probably because I was like running around getting things ready for this, but maybe I'll cool down as I sit here, possibly. Maybe not. But yeah, what I'm wearing a Felix cardigan that I made probably a year ago or so. Probably took about a month to make. I'm pretty sure it was last spring, because I feel like I finished it and it was already a bit too warm to wear it. And I do remember when I was making it, yeah, I think I was isolated in April last year for a bit because I had seen a friend who got COVID. It seems like April's a bad COVID time. Anyways, I just remember my friend KP coming by to drop off some seedlings. So maybe it was April. Maybe that's too soon. Anyways, doesn't matter. And I was showing them the sweater from my balcony here. I live on the second floor, and they were down on the street, and I was like holding up this sweater and showing them the Nutiden that it's made in. Yeah, it's knit in Nutiden. This is the first Nutiden I bought. I've purchased from them 3 times, and this was the very first time. And I wasn't even sure about the color, but I just knew I really wanted it, and I was there and on time for the shop update. So I got this color, and I actually really love it. I was not like a huge purple person, but I think this like nice gray purple is really lovely. And it's called Vaka, I believe is the colorway. And I held it double. It's I don't remember what needles I used, but honestly that never matters because I'm always using a weird size to accommodate my loose knitting. It has some nice shell buttons. I definitely, this was very inspired by Nicole, the gentle knitter. I had seen her Felix knit in Nutiden, and it just looked so lovely for like showcasing this really nice yarn. And here, oh, it's very fuzzy, and you can see a little bit. I spent a while the other day cutting little pills off it, but it's kind of blowing out. But you get the idea. Okay, you want to come back up? So yeah, this was very inspired by Nicole, whose podcast I really love. And I actually saw her at Knit City, like from afar, and wanted to say hi, but felt really shy. It's so funny to feel that way. Oh, B, no. She's trying to drink my tea. Anyways, I doubt Nicole would ever watch this, but if she does, hi, I saw you and I was too shy to say hello. Yeah, was a very overwhelming event. I'm sure I'll be I'm sure I'll talk about it a bit more soon, because I bought stuff. Of course I bought stuff. So what should I start with? B is sniffing my pile of things. Don't knock anything over. So I only have one finished thing, and it would be my pair of socks knit in Garthenor Snowdonia sock. I don't know how best to display them like this. Yeah, Snowdonia sock. It's a non-superwash, no nylon sock yarn, and I've worn them. Part of me wanted to keep them nice for the podcast, and part of me was just really excited to wear them, and they're really comfy. Yeah, I just did this like because they come in 50-gram balls. I didn't want to run out, so I alternated, or I did opposites, and I think it's really cute. And so far they're really comfy. I think I've only worn them like walking around in boots once, and you can kind of see like there's like some wear, but it like feels really solid still, obviously. I've heard like horror stories of people wearing no nylon socks for the first time and like them immediately getting holes, and so that hasn't been the case, although I don't know that I walked around a lot. But yeah, these are knitted at a pretty tight gauge anyways. It's a 72 stitch sock and I knitted on 1.75 millimeter needles, but I'm a very loose knitter. And I find that gives me an 8-inch circumference, and I have a 9-inch foot. It's 9 inches around the widest part. Yeah, so I have 2 more balls of Snowdonia sock, and I think that'll be my next sock cast on, except I bought some more sock yarn, but it's not here yet. And it's really exciting. I'm excited to show you, but I didn't take this out, but I will now. Again, my moth proofing. So this is what I had left. Sorry if it's loud. Where do I put it? There's like a mountain of yarn on my desk. This is what I had left of the two. I haven't weighed them, but enough to do some like cute little contrasts on something. Maybe I could have, no, I don't think I could have done a full heel and toe. I don't know, and cuff, no, probably not. But these are the other two that I have, and I don't know quite yet. I don't remember the colorway names of these ones. But yeah, that'll be my next sock, I think. I'm kind of thinking something shorter actually, because it's almost shoe time, shoe season. Time for wearing shoes instead of boots. And yeah, I made these extra long. I was like some extra tall boot socks, but they're actually kind of too long in a way. Like I just don't like how they sit on my leg. And I will say with this yarn, like I really like the stockinette, but it like doesn't have great stitch definition. Like you can see my, it's funny that it's blowing out so much because it's so overcast today, but yeah, my 1x1 rib looks really loose and uneven in this yarn. It's harder to tell on the marl, but so I kind of wanted to do something cabled, but I don't think it would look particularly nice in this. I think it's because it's so like smooth or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's like got a shine to it and like a slipperiness. Like I think I said last time, whenever I dropped a stitch, it would just sort of ladder down a few rows right away because there's nothing like, yeah, I wonder, it must be a good property for the sock, for sock yarn. Oh, rambly today. But yeah, so those will be my next socks. And these, I'm excited to wear them more. I'm trying to not be precious about them and just wear them. I'm a little scared to like get the white dirty. But I should just go for it. And the colors, if I didn't say, are Lily. I'm looking at my mirrored screen again. Lily is the cream and Idwal is the, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but so here they are. Idwal is the marled color. Yeah, so I need to make a landing pad for things once I've talked about them. I'm just admiring my flowers again. So, what next? Something I worked on a lot since the last time I filmed was my half and half triangles wrap, which I just picked up again for the first time in a while, and I did have a lot of reading to do recently. It's all bunched up, but anyways, it doesn't look particularly different, but I thought I'd show you. I should have put I wish I'd put a marker for where I was last time I filmed, but this marker, hard to orient myself. Okay. This marker was from where I'd stopped knitting it in the fall, and then I picked it back up just before I guess I had filmed last time. And it's knit in linen quill as the pattern calls for. It's a Pearl Soho pattern. It's free. And I think I mentioned last time I'm doing the small size with, sorry, I shouldn't cover my mouth. Knitting the small size, but I added 30 stitches. So small plus 30, and it's in the colors Super Orange and Stillwell Blue. And yeah, I like that I can do this with it now that it's on the long cable. I think it'll be nice. I've been alone all day. I've spent a lot of days alone. recently, like all alone in my apartment. And I feel like when I see people, I've been kind of weird. And this feels like seeing people. Yeah, so ta-da. I guess, I mean, it looks deceptively like I have not that much left to do, but it's all the longest rows. So yeah, if I were to do it again, like I bought 4 balls of yarn, 2 of each color. And so that's why I like looked at people's yardages on Ravelry and added 30 extra stitches, which put me, I think, between the small and the large in terms of stitch count. But I think if I were to do it again, I'd add even more stitches because like this is the first ball of the Stillwater blue. And you can see how, yeah, I think there could be even more stitches, just to like, cause I was trying to maximize, maximize my yarn to not have that much left over, but I did have like, I think I mentioned this last time, like probably 50 grams of the orange left, which I don't want to be like playing yarn chicken, but I also would like to use up, especially when it's something that was quite expensive. Yeah, so just something to keep in mind. But I also feel like the small would be pretty small, but maybe this will, because if this is in between the two, but this might block out a bit bigger, and maybe I'm knitting it a little tight, I'm not sure. But I'm knitting on 2.75 millimeter needles. So yeah, that's that. I mentioned last time that I started this on the first day of school. Feels dorky to say, but it was my like, I was nervous in the morning and I cast it on, and then brought it with me to my first class and knit it in class in the back, and it was cute. My professor kept asking for updates about it, so I should send her a picture when it's finished. But I'm hoping my last day of classes is on Wednesday. No, I'm not going to finish it before then, but I was thinking it would be nice to finish it for the end of the year, but now I have other things taking my attention, so we'll see. Oh, I also forgot to show one of the stitch markers on here I made. Just went to the bead store by my house, and it's just like bead and stone. It's whatever. I don't have very nice like rings to keep them on the, this one's a lobster clasp, but I gotta find some rings without a catch on them to make stitch markers in the future, because it's just fun, like making little tiny jewelry. But this stitch marker is my favorite stitch marker. It's a really silly thing to, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, stitch markers are cute and funny. It's a little pine cone. Oh, sorry, loud noise. Tiny pine cone. And it's from Firefly Notes, an Etsy seller. I can link it below. Canadian Etsy seller. And she does these nice little metal stitch markers, and I really like the tiny pine cones. They're just the perfect size and weight. Okay, anyways. Add that to the pile. Sad to just pile it on the ground, but what are you gonna do? I'll clean it up later. So my next thing I'm working on is in this cute bag my friend Izzo made for me. Was it for my birthday? I don't remember. They made me a couple of these nice bags. I can link the pattern for those too. I have it as well. It's really nice. It's got lots of pockets in it. And even this like nice little set of buttonholes. In theory, for doing color work, you could put one string through each buttonhole so they don't get tangled. I've never actually done it before, but okay. This is my Marit. I've been getting so sleepy in the afternoon lately, like unbelievably sleepy, and so I'm trying to drink tea to remain alert. Sorry, but maybe I've had too much tea. Okay. So, I showed you last time my first sleeve of my Marit cardigan, patterned by Kristen Drysdale. I'm making the largest size. I've shown this on every podcast so far. So, this is it blocked, but now it's been folded up and in a bag, so it doesn't look as nice as it did, but you can kind of see it just evened out really nicely. And I tried to flip it around so it wouldn't get a fold, but as it was drying, but it still did. So you can see that's the top of the sleeve. This is the underside where the increases happen. And yeah, I was kind of worried about my tension at the like corners of the magic loop because I'm knitting it on magic loop. But I think they evened out nicely. I think when I did this, I found the instructions for the increases a little confusing. So I think I did this first one slightly wrong. But I've started the second one and I'm doing it right now. Just her instructions about where to place the increases I had trouble with, but oh no, I stopped in the middle of a row. Of course. I think I'm doing it correctly on this sleeve. Here, I'm just gonna slip these over so I can show you less obnoxiously. So I think I'm doing it right now, but they won't be exactly matching, but probably no one would ever notice but me, I imagine. No one's going to be looking at my forearms and saying, why doesn't it look the same? Oh, talking is hard. So yeah, this is the increases on this one, and I think they just look a little better and more well integrated. I don't know if we can compare. Maybe it's not even that noticeable. This is the new one, the first one. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to block it to see the measurements and make sure that everything was okay before I started the next one. And I am still worried that it's too short, which is why I haven't. You're supposed to knit a facing, so the body is steeked. And then you'll cut open for the front of the cardigan, and then cut open for the sleeves. And then the sleeve is supposed to have a knit facing on it, which then you fold in the steek and then you sew the facing to it. And so I stopped before that facing because I was like, maybe I'll end up making the sleeves longer. I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait till I've finished the body. But then also I was thinking, and I was looking at people's project photos, and it looks really bulky, like right there. And I also think that I'm worried about the fit of this and that it might be a bit small on me, which I don't mind, like a close fitting cardigan, but I think if it was close fitting, drop shoulder, and also had a very bulky seam there, just covered in sleeves, I'm worried that would be like kind of constrictive around my arm, which I don't like. Constricting. Anyways, so what I'm thinking, I was watching the 100 Acre Wool podcast, Bella, who I watch sometimes, and she's very sweet, and she just knit the Yell cardigan, Marie Wallen, oh my god, yarn everywhere, Marie Wallen's Yell cardigan, and that cardigan is knit bottom up, and then you again steek the sleeves and pick up and knit downwards, but Bella didn't want her stitches to be in opposite directions. Maybe this is too confusing to explain, but if you're knitting the body from bottom up and then you pick up the sleeves and knit the sleeves down, obviously like your knits would be going up and then in a different direction going down. And she didn't want that, so she knit the body bottom up and she knit the sleeves bottom up, and then she picked up stitches around the armhole after securing the steek and then grafted the sleeve to the armhole. And I think that's what I'm going to do for this, which seems like that grafting is going to be a little tricky, but I think I'll just be happier with it if I do that, and it'll be less bulky. Yeah. So I made pretty good progress on this. I kind of picked it up right after I filmed last time and did a fair bit, but then of course I got distracted by some things that you'll see soon. But I got a haircut and I'm fiddling with my hair again. My friend cuts my hair and we were both couldn't figure out if one side was shorter than the other. And so I keep looking at it. My one hair school friend, and we couldn't get it to look right, and now it looks shorter. It looks shorter here, but when I look in the mirror, it doesn't. It's like a curl illusion. Anyways, I hope it's distracting me. I imagine it's not distracting anyone else, but yeah. Yeah, so I had also talked about being intimidated by doing the body. And someone, I'm sorry, I should have checked and got your name, but somebody suggested, or they said they had done this cardigan, and what they did was cast on and do one row of, because it's like 400 and something stitches for the body, and like 12 rounds of 1x1 rib, which just sounded like so awful. Or it's back and forth, but anyways, so that's what I started doing, and I was feeling really motivated. And what is this stuck to? Oh, there's just so much going on in this project bag. Yeah, it's great idea. I was like, that's perfect. That's what I'll do. And we had a mishap. I had mentioned before, because I'm such a loose knitter, the cardigan calls for the body to be knit on 3mm needles and the rib to be done on 2mm needles. And I usually in most things go down at least 0.75mm. So I'm knitting this sleeve on 2.25mm, and I was doing the ribbing on 1.2mm needles. So like you can see how tiny it is, and it's like bent because it's so small. It's like a sewing needle. But yeah, these were Haya needles that I'd bought, and I was knitting with them, and I was like, these don't feel good, and then it broke. So and I was partway through a row and I like knew it was happening. So yeah, then I set this aside for a while. I ordered a new needle, but I didn't want to order another Haya. And I don't think they make Chow-gu fixed, or I couldn't find anywhere that sold Chow-gu fixed needles in 1.2mm. So I got a 1.5mm, and I don't know where it is. Oh, it's down there. But, so I haven't dealt with this yet because I've been distracted by other things, but this is the body. So, yeah, all that to say, this is where I'm at with the body. How many rows have I done here? Like 3 or 4. I was partway through the 4th row when the needle broke. So I think 1.5 should be fine. I don't know. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with my Marit cardigan. another slow going thing, and that's fine. I am like worrying more and more about the fit, but because I also have been operating under the assumption that my bust was still 48 inches. And it's not anymore. It's 49. I just measured the other day. So this is the largest size of the Marit, and it's supposed to be like 53.75 inches. Which, yes, in theory, that's like almost 4 inches of ease. And I think the pattern calls for 3.5 to something. Anyways, I'm not sure. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be enough for me. Because the problem that I have with fit with a lot of things is that, like, I don't know how to illustrate. Like, my bust is smaller in proportion to my body than I think people drafting patterns would expect. Like, it's so, I don't know. I think I have to start accounting for that a bit more because, like, my shoulders are bigger, I think, than what someone writing a pattern would expect for a bust of 49. Anyways, so I don't know. I'll just make this cardigan and see how it fits, and you know, maybe it'll be a gift for someone after all that work. I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll just wear it open. We'll see, or maybe it'll just fit and it'll be fine. I might not have room to like put much under it, but that's okay. Anyways, how long have I been? Wow, I'm really good at talking about knitting. This is partly why I wanted to do this today, because I've just been so stressed out and I just wanted to do something that felt nice, and this does feel nice. So yeah, I have so much work to do. I have like 3 papers and 2 presentations all to do before next Wednesday. And one of them I haven't even read the book yet. I'm just like, this semester has been like, I've been in school a lot in my life, like I said before. This is my second master's degree, and I do think this is my worst performance as a student ever. I kind of started this semester really burnt out, and I was like, I wonder if I can do this without taking a single note. I wonder if I can get through this semester without taking any notes. And I've kind of done it. Yeah, and I was just like missed a lot of class. Something about, I took 4 classes last semester, and by Christmas, like beginning of December, I was really, really tired, and really burnt out, and I was like looking forward to seeing my family at the holidays and stuff, but then like Omicron happened, and that was really stressful on top of like being burnt out, I think. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this now, but all that to say, it's nice. I've done a lot of knitting because I'm really stressed out, really behind in school. It's gonna be fine. Like, I'll get extensions and whatever. But yeah, I'm really enjoying like the course content of my program. And I like translating. If you hadn't seen my previous episodes, I'm doing a master's in translation studies. So to become a French to English, like, written translator, not an interpreter or anything. Yeah, so I like the content. I like translating. Just part of I think part of the issue is that a chunk of my degree is like translation studies theory classes, which I totally am very interested in. But I'm just, being on my second master's degree, I just don't have brain for theory anymore. I don't want to think critically. I just want to be like given a translation task and like to execute it. And so I have more of those kind of classes next year, but I had to get through some theory stuff. Anyways, wow, talking about this for a long time. But so I've been doing a lot of knitting and not a lot of my homework. So here we go. So there's more. I showed you the half and half and the Marit, and those are things you'd seen before. And now I guess I can show you things that I picked up at Knit City, which was on Sunday. Today's Friday, and I already cast on. So first thing, it's just teeny tiny. I bought this ball of like rust colored mohair silk. Actually, it's a mohair silk alpaca blend. We were walking around Knit City and I kept picking up mohairs of this like similar color. And my friends were like, you keep gravitating to the same things. Why don't you just buy it? And eventually I found this, which has some alpaca in it, which I'm into. And it's a 25-gram ball, which is great because I knew I wanted to make just this little blackberry kerchief is the pattern. And it's really cute. It's a free pattern. I found it hard to start. I tried to start it on my birthday on Sunday when we went to Knit City, and then I had like a birthday party in the park and it was snowing with a friend of mine whose birthday was also on Sunday, and I tried to start that late at night and I was like really tired. I'd also been like kind of hungover at Knit City, and anyways I was getting so frustrated trying to cast that on. And then I started it again the next day and it was fine. So this is the ball band is a little bit, because it was so tiny. But the yarn dyer is called Salmon, and I can link her below. I met her, she was super nice. And the base is called Glow. Oh, we don't have great lighting today, but 40% silk, 35% super kid mohair, and 25% baby alpaca. And I got it. I was also excited about it too because it reminded me of, I don't remember the exact composition, but I've used the yarn Creya Deluxe before, and it's just like the softest, nicest thing. So yeah, it's a cute little cake. Yeah, and I'm already a good ways through the kerchief. So it's just gonna be a little tiny little kerchief. And my friend KP had made one already, so I had seen it and I knew I liked it. And I'd probably just wear it around my neck. I don't know why I'm trying to modeling these half knitted things, but around like this and tie it in the front. Yeah, it's just been sitting around my house like this, like a little sculpture. And yeah, I was working on this a lot until I started something else, but it's really cute. I think it's gonna be really nice. I've never knit anything in a single strand of mohair before, and I'm liking it. It takes a little getting used to, and the pattern is a bit tricky. You have to like purling, and there are some like purl 3 togethers happening, and that took me a while to get the hang of with such a thin yarn. And I'm knitting it on, definitely went down some needle sizes. I think I'm knitting it on 3.25, and it called for maybe 4. But I think the fabric is good, and yeah. Hopefully I can focus on that again eventually. But I got distracted by other things. Maybe I'll show you just I bought three things at Knit City, which I think was very, yeah. I had bought 2 things and I was like, I need 1 more. 3 seems like the appropriate amount. I bought more than 1 skein of some things, but 3 different wools. So this is the second one, and it's so interesting. Yeah, Knit City was really fun, but the lighting was so bad in there. It was at like the Sheraton downtown. So in that lighting, this looked how it looks on camera, which is like this kind of gunmetal gray. shiny. But to, like, right now, holding it, it looks really purple. So it's interesting. And this is some yarn I've been meaning to buy for a while, but I knew they were coming to Knit City and I wanted to buy it in person. So it's from Les Belles Bouclettes, which is I wonder if it'll let you see this. Is that going to be backwards? No, you can read that. Yes, they are a farm with Angora coats, and I think it's in Van Cleek Hill, which is kind of like between, yes, it's in Van Cleek Hill, between Ottawa and Montreal, and I'm from Ottawa. I live in Montreal, and I can't remember how I found them, but I think I was just looking for local yarn producers, and came across them online a while ago, and I've been trying to go to the farm ever since, but because of COVID they've been closed. Anyways, I don't know who I met when I bought this, but I asked her if the farm would be open, and she said to give them a call in the summer. So I bought 2 of these. I should have bought 3. So this is their kid mohair, mixed, so 75% mohair, 15% silk, and 10% wool, and I think it's Canadian wool. It's so soft. Yeah, so I really like the color I do like it, but it is very purpley, but it's hard, like, in comparison to this purple, it's like a more muted purple in person, but it does look very gray on this camera and blown out, but it's so shiny and like really soft. And I don't know what I'm gonna make. I think it would be good for a shawl, but I'm not sure that I'd have any use for such a thin shawl. It's a fingering weight, and so I'm thinking some sort of like tank top is probably what's gonna happen. I should have bought 3, but I mean they weren't cheap. But yeah, I've just been wanting to try this for a long time, so that was something nice that I bought. It's hard to put it down, but I will. To show you, I think, my last thing, which is that where's the swatch? So I've just been kind of obsessed with this pattern for a while. So I started the Great Gingham Raglan, and at first I was just going to swatch and wait until I'd done other things, but then, yeah, I started, and I'll just show you. Look at it. So, I had actually been planning to do this with slightly different yarn, and I had bought this contrast, or this is the main color, and it's Peace Fleece, which I've never tried before, but it's too bright. I don't know how to change that. I'm sure Izzo would know, and they keep saying they want to be my podcast PA, and I'm like, no, it's not that big a deal. But yeah, anyways, thanks, Izzo. I know they'll watch this and they'll see this and they'll laugh. Yeah, so this is Peace Fleece. I really liked the sample. So it's the Great Gingham Raglan by Jessie Maid. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. And I really liked the original sample, which was knit in, I think it's knit in Spin Cycle, and the contrast, or the main color was Ritual Dyes, and the contrast color was a Spin Cycle yarn, and I've never knit with Spin Cycle before, and it seems really fun, but it also like kind of stresses me out and seems really expensive, and it's superwash, and so I'm not, maybe someday I'll knit with it, but I wasn't that interested. So I found this Peace Fleece, And I had planned to pair it with something else, but then when we were at Knit City, I came across this yarn, and I think it was in the booth of La Bobineuse, which is a yarn store in Montreal, kind of more east. I've never actually been there, but I would like to go someday. And I think this was like new for Knit City. And it's by the dyer Le Pastel Club. Her neon line, and we met her, and she was very nice. And I went back to this yarn like 3 times, and then finally was like, okay, this can be my 3rd thing that I buy. And I think it would be perfect for the Great Gingham. And then she asked me what I was going to make with it, and I said the Great Gingham, and she said she was also making it in her own yarn. And I looked on Instagram, and she had posted a story the other day. She's not using the same colorway, I don't think, but she's doing like a blue and a white. And my friend Rudy, who I was with, also bought the same yarn, though I'm not sure if it's going to make it into their Great Gingham. But yeah, so the color's called Phosphène. And she said it's 100% Dorset Canadian from the flock is in Kamouraska, which is a small town east of here. Well, if you're going east on the St. Lawrence River, it's that way. And it's on the drive from here to New Brunswick. And so I've been there a few times to Kamouraska, but haven't seen the sheep. But yeah, anyways, it's nice that they're like local. Apparently it's milled in Quebec, which I like. I didn't know. I've kind of been looking for local yarns here and there, and not really finding that much from like, there's like dyers in Quebec, but I don't know, with the Googling that I had done, I hadn't come across any like yarn producers or mills or anything, so I'd like to look into it more. But you can see it's got, yeah, a really fun like variegation in it, but like subtle at the same time. So when I was there, I looked up the pattern and read the yardage for the wrong size, so I bought 3. I definitely only needed 2. I mean, I guess it's good to have extra just in case, but look how pretty. So this is it caked up with the piece fleece. Ooh. I really like how the red is showing up here. Like that's the red that I wanted, like an orangey bright red. And the piece fleece is really interesting too. I've like heard of it obviously many times. So it's, what's the makeup here? It's 75% Navajo Rambouillet, so from the States, and then 25% mohair. I didn't realize there was mohair in it. And it's just like feels really dry and lofty, and I was worried at first. Well, here, and you can see there's like flecks of yellow and pink. Now I'm really close to the mic. I'm sure I hope it's not too quiet or too loud. So I was worried at first. The website I bought this on, got it from Wool and Waves, which is a yarn store in BC that I've ordered from before, many times actually. And they have a nice selection of like Canadian. Well, they're just somewhere that I've bought wool from custom woolen mills before, and they have good shipping rates. Though it's gone up since I started ordering from there, but that's normal. Everything's gone up. So it was listed at a sport/DK, which is what it says on the tag. But I think now they just advertise it as a DK, which I understand because I feel like it's on the heavier side of sport. And then I had this stuff, which is on kind of the light side of fingering. I don't know if I can show you how they compare. Yeah, so you can see that the piece fleece is like noticeably thicker than this Dorset, single ply Dorset. And I was also wondering about like pairing a plied yarn with an unplied yarn. So the piece fleece is 2-ply and the Dorset is a single ply. Yeah, so I made this swatch and I just really wasn't sure. I was like, do the red squares look like too chunky compared to the white squares, and like, does this look okay that the holding it over my eyes, that the V's and the sort of colorwork section are slightly smaller. And I made the swatch and was gonna like let it sit and then started eventually when I'd finished more things. But then I was just being a little obsessive about it and couldn't stop thinking about it. So I was like, I think what I need to do is cast on a sleeve to see how it works up in context. Oh no. Such a mess. What is going on? So yeah, I cast on the sleeve like 2 days ago. It's Friday now. I cast it on Wednesday night because I needed a treat. I literally, every second I'm awake, I need a treat to like motivate me to keep going. But yeah, and I cast it on and I was like, you know what, it works great. It like, there's no like, I don't know, I was worried that the heavier yarn would like puff out in sections or something, but there's none of that. And I think the fact that the lighter variegated yarn is on the thin side of Sport, like it definitely is a fingering. Anyways, but it does bloom a little bit. It did. Now I've lost my swatch. Yeah, it like bloomed out a bit, and you can see in the swatch is blocked. Versus cinematography. Anyways, maybe you can't see anything, but it fills in a bit with blocking. I forget what I was saying now. Oh, but I think it just like the fact that it's on the thinner side of Sport, having this thicker yarn, kind of, it just evens itself out. And I think it looks really nice and it feels really nice. And you can see that nice variegation. You're kind of like in this light can't see the pinks. Like there's a fair bit of pink running through this. And that's kind of lost on the camera, but which I think in some lights it can skew kind of like Christmassy. I almost don't want to say that because I don't want to put that idea in anyone's head, but I think in person there's like, maybe I can put a picture, there's like a lot going on, more than just green, so I don't think it will ultimately look Christmassy, and especially because the white is like a bit more on the yellow side. Yeah, it just looks, this is not doing it justice. I think it looks more interesting in person. So at first, this always happens with sleeves, I'm like, it's huge. But I think it'll be actually really fun. Like puffy sleeve. Because of course they're straight sleeves and to fit around my bicep in my size, which I think I'm making the 2X? The 1X or the 2X, I can't remember. This looks like those things that like pharmacists used to wear. Anyways, that's a funny memory of like watching old movies and pharmacists. I feel like in It's a Wonderful Life. But anyways, tangent. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna make the sleeves shorter because I felt like they looked long in a lot of people's projects on Ravelry. And also with such a puffy sleeve, I think it would want it to be more like bracelet length on me, not 3/4, but I'm hoping for bracelet length. So it's another all over color work, knit bottom up. Yeah, and it's going pretty fast considering, compared to the Marit. Yeah, and I'm actually knitting this on the called for needle size, which is weird. I'm like, what's the deal? Usually I go down a millimeter, but I think it's like silly gauge math, but I usually go down a millimeter, but then I go back up if it's color work because my color work knitting is a bit tighter. So, and then she recommends, this is so like roundabout and not necessary to tell you, but she recommends going up a needle size for sleeves because people tend to knit tighter on small circumference. So with that math, I went down a millimeter and then back up a millimeter to get to the right size, the exact size that she recommends in the pattern. So she recommends 4 for the body and then to go up 1 size for the sleeves, or 4 millimeter for the body, go up 1 size for the sleeves. And I'm on 4 millimeter for the sleeve, and then I'll probably do 3.75 millimeter for the body, maybe. But I'm also like, when you're knitting sleeves for my size, their circumference isn't like that small. You know, it's like 18 inches. It's like knitting a hat. Uh-oh, I'm doing it. I regret this. It's hat size. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's not even that tiny of a circumference, but and I suppose I could be doing this on a shorter cable and just knitting in the round. I should try that just for fun. Although I think my shorter cable is, maybe I have another one. Anyways, that is a nice thing about being a bigger size, having bigger arms. I don't have to buy the like short cables to knit my sleeves. Like Chaogu makes those small circumference, like shorter ones. I have the 4-inch tips, and with whatever the shortest cable is, I can do a sleeve totally reasonably. So there's that. Oh, I could show you my floats too. At first I was being like very diligent and catching my floats even though she doesn't say to in the pattern. And then I was like dreading, there's like 4 rows every repeat where there's a stretch of 7 stitches. And I was catching it on those 4 rounds, and then I was just like dreading those like catching rounds, so I just stopped, and I was like, you know what, it's all such toothy yarn. Sorry, my teeth. And it's just gonna stick to itself and it's gonna be fine. And I was like reading people's project pages trying to figure out if other people were catching their floats, and it didn't seem like it. So yeah, I think it sped it up a little bit, and yeah, made it. I don't mind catching floats, but anyways, sometimes on the rounds where it was a long stretch of red, it was harder because of how I do my color work. Yeah, this has been a rambly one. I hope that's okay. Again, I haven't talked to anybody today. What time is it now? It's 3:40 p.m. Whoa. Happens to me a lot, but that's fine. I do really like getting out in the morning to do something and see someone before I spend all day inside doing homework. I did go for a run this morning, which is good. So I have been outside, but just haven't talked to anyone. So yeah, I didn't intend to start this, but it's been really fun. You can also, like, you can see where I caught the floats in the first couple repeats. I think I stopped, but yeah, you can see it here. And maybe that'll block out, but that's another reason. Just don't bother. And I was also happy I did a swatch and blocked it because just to make sure the red didn't bleed at all. But I'm pretty sure it's like dyed in the wool. I think. I have no idea. That's my layman's opinion is that this is what's dyed in the wool, so it's probably been washed a couple times, so it probably wouldn't bleed, but it didn't. So yeah, I feel like this, I was really just like loved the contrast in the sample, and I'm a little worried about how it'll like fit into my wardrobe. Just like it's kind of loud compared to other things that I have, but I think the fit and shape of it will make it pretty wearable for me. And yeah, I think I'll find ways to make it work. I'm also just looking at my shelf of fabric. I have like 4 ginghams that I was gonna make a dress out of, like a mismatched gingham dress. And I feel like no, that would be too much. Gingham dress, I mean, I'd have to wear it to at least take a picture of sometime, but who knows when I'll ever get to sewing that. I have so much fabric. I mean, it could definitely be worse than it is. There's more on the floor behind me. I'm just feeling overwhelmed because I am moving. I did find an apartment. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but I'm really excited, really happy to have found that, and to finally have a place all by myself. I think it's going to be really good for me. I think I've lived with roommates so I just turned 31. Now you know my age. Doesn't matter. Turned 31 on Sunday. I've been living with roommates since I was 17, with a very brief stint living alone. Like, I lived alone for a year and a half. And I think that was good for me at the time, but I didn't realize how much I needed it when I was living alone last time, because I was going through like another bad time. Yeah. And I had bed bugs and stuff, so it wasn't the relaxing living alone experience that I think it could have been. But I've just come to recognize over the last few years, and I'd been starting to notice it like pre-pandemic, but especially during the pandemic, that I'm just like, I just really need a lot of alone time, and like, but also the ability to like move around a space and like do things while alone. Like, I can have alone time while having a roommate, but it involves being in my room with the door closed. And that, yeah, it's just not the same when there's someone else in the apartment. And so I think I'm gonna have a lot more energy just being by myself. And I think it's gonna be good. But it does mean I have to pack up everything, and that is really another stressful thing for me. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know if I'll have time to film again before that happens. Probably. I haven't quite decided when I'm going to move yet, but yeah, maybe not next time I film, but maybe the time after I'll be in a new space. Anyways, I can just tell you next time. Oh boy, it's been a long one. I just wonder if I should show you some sewing. Which am I sitting on it? No. Some things I sewed. Oh, B. Don't chew on anything. Just sit there. I woke up at 6 in the morning to the sound of her little tongue on a leaf in my room, which I thought I had put it out of her way. She's being cute. I guess I'll hear it if she starts licking anything. I think tulips are toxic to cats, but she licked one this morning and she's fine. I do try generally to keep it out of her way. Well, this is a bee related thing that I made, which is right here. And it's dirty, but I couldn't find my lint roller. But I made these funny, you can see it's covered in cat hair, but I made this funny thing to sit. It's like a cat bed, but it's just, I've been calling it my cat placemat. I had this fabric that I had pieced. I'd pieced like a big thing of fabric, and then quilted it just to some flannel. And I'm sorry, it doesn't look that nice because it's got cat hair on it, but I couldn't find my lint roller for the life of me. And you know what? It would take a lot of lint rolling to get all this cat hair off. If you have a thing, if you know of a device that removes cat hair, well, let me know, because you know, it's just a constant struggle. But this was a sort of preventative thing, because she's always getting hair all over my desk. She's not like that hairy. Are you eating? No, you're just sitting there. Sorry, now they can't see you in your spot. What if I move this? Uh-oh. Okay, there she is. Now where do I put it? Oh dear, okay. Oops, I might have just rubbed on the mic. I'm sorry. Don't lick the tulips. What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you know of something like non-disposable that removes cat hair, well, let me know. So I made this tiny, it's like just the right size for her. Maybe I can put a picture of her sitting on it. And that sits just at the front of my desk, like by the window, so she can look out the window. And then this one's even hairier, and I'm sorry, but I made this. It's covered in cat hair, so gross, but you know, that's life. Because she sits on my chair, my office chair, and she gets the seat all hairy, and then I sit on it, and then I'm all hairy. So I made this, and I like take it off the chair and sit down and put it back on the chair. I don't know what the things we do. So yeah, 2 cat placemats, and I just did some like bias binding around the edge, although I maybe did it too tight, because it's a little bit, I mean, it's cute, but it's just so hairy. And this is a pattern I bought a while ago called the Garden Gems quilt. And I can link that. And yeah, I just made I made a pieced like chunk of fabric with the pattern because I wanted to make a quilt coat, and then I never ended up doing it, and it just sat around. So I turned it into these cat placemats. I mean, it's like a cat bed, but it's just, I feel like it would be easier to wash because it's not as like thick as some cat beds that I've had before. And the other thing that I finished sewing, this is the sewing section. I didn't announce that, but this is also all hairy, but it's hairy from my sweater. I finished making this dress, which, put this in my basket. Yeah, I finished sewing this dress, which again could benefit from a lint rolling, but I had made this dress like last summer. I just like made a square construction dress out of this linen cotton blend, and I made it, I do like things with a lot of ease, but I think I made it with like 10 inches of ease, and this is like a mid-weight fabric, and it was just really heavy, and you can see the bra I'm wearing a bit here now, but the square neck was too wide. It was like falling off my shoulders a little bit. It was the first thing that I tried to like make up myself, and it just didn't quite work. It was too heavy because the skirt was too thick. Here, I'll show you the rest. This looks terrible. It's all covered in like mohair, and anyways, whatever, this is life. You can't see the length here. It just gives you an idea. It's got pockets like pretty high. Sits like just under my bust. It goes down just above my knees, but I can't show you that because of this angle, and also I'm wearing sweatpants under it, so you don't know that either. Yeah, so sorry it's all hairy, but this is really truly mostly wool. A bit of cat hair. I do find that a lot sticks to this fabric, but maybe after a couple washes it might calm down. Yeah, so it's basically just, I don't know, improvised. So I made this larger dress, and I took it apart. I kept the pockets, but I like cut out like however much at the middle, at the front and back, sewed it back together. I bias bound the neckline, and then these are just like square sleeves, so they end up doing a little, like it's just a rectangle of fabric sewn to the like bodice part, and I like felled the seams, so they end up like kicking out a bit, and it's kind of nice. It's fine. Now you can see my it's perfect for showcasing my tiny tattoo of a croissant. Yeah, so this is something else I finished, and I have like a lot of sewing projects that are just like sitting around, and I want to try and get through some of them before I move. So this was the first in that pile. And yeah, it's not really doing it justice, but were I to leave the house, I would do a lint roll. Yeah. You can kind of get a sense. It looks so bad. Ignore all the hair. Yeah. Whatever. So I kind of made this with the thinking that I've like been knitting crop sweaters and I could wear them over this. But it's kind of, feel like through trying things and making things, I've figured out what I like in a fabric, and I do really like this fabric, but it's a bit thick for that purpose. Like when I put on a crop sweater over it, this is too high. The waistline sits too high, so I like how that looks independent of a sweater. But with a sweater over it, it kind of just makes the sweater flare out because it is like a mid-weight fabric, really. Yeah, so just another learning moment for me. So I'm trying to think of other ways to make dresses that might work with my sweaters, because I think that that's something I'd like to have, because that just feels like a really easy and comfy outfit. Yeah, oh my god, I've talked so much. These episodes just keep getting longer and longer. But thank you if you're still here. hope you didn't mind hearing about some sewing too. And I feel like I ramble about my life a lot in there in the middle. I hope that you're having a good day. And yeah, maybe I'll just end it here. Thank you for hanging out with me and B and my flowers. That sweater was really warm and I was really hot, and it feels much better to be in short sleeves now. Yeah, so thanks for coming by, and I've been talking for too long now. I don't know how to like end it. Yeah, thank you to Amory for the theme song. Thank you for all your nice comments. And for subscribing, and yeah, it's just been really nice. I did have someone in the comments the other day asking me what this machine is, but she wanted to know other people's guesses too, though I'm sure there's definitely someone who's gonna know for sure. But if you have any guesses about what this machine is, you can put them in the comments. Yeah. Also, my African violet is flowering. Wow. Amazing. Okay, it's spring. Everything's gonna get better. B, don't eat the tulips. Okay, I gotta move these flowers. And I have to find a way to stop talking. It was hard. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.